House Tarly of Hornhill, one of the strongest houses sworn to House Tyrell, Marcher Lords of the Dornish Marches. The Tarleys are a family old in honor, with rich lands and a strong keep. They are also the keepers of Valyrian greatsword called Heartsbane. Samwell Tarly has been removed from the Tarly line of succession by Lord Randall Tarly in favor of Dickon Tarly. According to legend, Tarly Castle was built on Hornhill by Garth Greenhand's sons, Harlan the Hunter and Herndon of the Horn, who built their castle atop Hornhill and took to wife the beautiful woods witch who dwelt there, sharing her favors for 100 years. The brothers did not age so long as they had intercourse with her whenever the moon was full. Prior to the acquisition of the western marches by the kings of the Reach, the castle was in a kingdom which extended from Hornhill to Nightsong. Randall Tarly is among the lords that joined their forces to Renly Baratheon's beneath Bitterbridge. Renly was at Hornhill with Lord Tarly when he received Stannis Baratheon's letter concerning the illegitimacy of Queen Cersei Lannister's children. Randall is among the lords who do not go over to Stannis after Renly's death at Storm's End. He captures Renly's stores at Bitterbridge and puts many men to death, mainly Florent men-at-arms, lest they go over to Stannis along with their lords. Randall is presented to the Iron Throne after the Battle of the Blackwater, where he had commanded the center of the Tyrell and Lannister host. The wards of House Tarly are, first in battle, House Tarf of Evenfall Hall. They are one of the main houses sworn to Storm's End. The family rules Tarf, a beautiful island with mountains and waterfalls, high meadows and shadowed vales. It is called the Sapphire Isle for the striking blue seas in which it sits. Some monarchs keep fleets along the western coast of Tarf as its mountains shield against storms and make the Straits of Tarf more pacific than the narrow sea of Shipbreaker Bay. Ancestors of House Tarf were once kings, and the head of the family is known as the Even Star, which they claim dates back to the dawn of days. The island of Tarf came under the dominion of the House Durrandon when the Storm King, Duran the Fair, married the daughter of Tarf's king, Edwin Evenstar. The island rebelled 3 times during the reign of the Storm King Dervald the Fat, however. Tarf was the first region of the Stormlands conquered during the Andal invasion, but peace between the Andals and First Man was eventually achieved when the Storm Kings and their bannermen intermarried with the Andals. The Tarfs have Andal ancestry and have ties with houses Durrandon, Baratheon, and Targaryen. Morn, a ruined castle on the eastern coast of Tarf, was once the seat of petty kings who were conquered by Storm Kings. Nobles and small folk alike from Tarf claim descent from Sir Galadon of Morn, also called the Perfect Knight, who was a legendary knight from Tarf. Legends claim that his valor was so great that the Maiden of the Seven fell in love with him. She gave him an enchanted sword, the Just Maid, to demonstrate her love for him. No sword could check the sword's blows, no shield could stop them. According to the legend, Galadon only unsheathed the sword 3 times, not once against a mortal man, for the fight would have been unfair. House Seaworth of Cape Wrath. Although their keep is in the Stormlands, they are sworn not to House Baratheon of Storm's End, but to House Baratheon of Dragonstone in the Crownlands. House Seaworth was created after Davos, a common smuggler, broke the Red Vine cordon and smuggled foodstuffs to the starving garrison of Storm's End during Robert's Rebellion. For his bravery in the siege of Storm's End, Davos was awarded a knighthood along with choice lands on Cape Wrath, including a small keep and a forest to hunt in, by Lord Stannis Baratheon. For his years of smuggling, however, Davos lost joints on his left hand. Davos captains Black Bata. He has 7 sons, many of them serving on ships in Stannis' fleet. His wife Maria tends his lands on Cape Wrath. Davos is a man of low birth, born in the wretched flea-bottom ward of King's Landing to a life of hardship. In his youth, he found service on the ship Cobblecat under Roto Ohoris, a Tiroshi smuggler and a pirate. Eventually, Ohoris was caught by the Night's Watch fleet from Eastwatch, where he was executed for trading weapons to wildlings. While impressed by this event, Davos did not refuse to trade with the members of the Night's Watch later. After his time aboard the Cobblecat, Davos made his own way and secured his own small ship, becoming one of the most infamous smugglers of the Seven Kingdoms up until meeting Stannis Baratheon. on. House Mormont of Bear Island. It is an old, proud, and honorable house of the north. House Mormont is one of the few houses to have an ancestral weapon of Valyrian steel, a sword called Longclaw. However, due to Bear Island's lack of valuable resources, the Mormonts are a rather poor house. That's why Mormont Hall is made just of huge logs, surrounded by an earthen palisade. On the gate is a carving of a woman in a bear skin with a child in one arm, suckling at her breast, and the battle axe in the other. Like the other women of Bear Island, the women of House Mormont learn how to defend themselves from Iron Man and wildlings. Island is densely forested with a large bear population, which earned the island its name. According to legend, in ancient times, Bear Island was ruled by House Woodfoot, who were wiped out when the Ironborn conquered the island. During the Age of Heroes, Roderick Stark allegedly won control of the island in a wrestling match with an Ironborn. Roderick gave Bear Island to the Mormonts, who have been loyal supporters of the Starks ever since. Lord J.R. Mormont arranged a marriage for his son, Jorah, to a girl from House Glover, when Jorah was still relatively young. While the marriage lasted 10 years, the couple had no children. Jorah's wife eventually died after not being able to recover from her third childbirth. By the time she died, Lord Jeor has joined the Night's Watch, where he rose quickly through the ranks and was eventually elected Lord Commander. When Lord Eddard Stark called his banners to fight in Robert's rebellion, Jorah joined the rebels and fought in the Battle of the Trident. Jorah fought during the Greyjoy Rebellion as well, and earned fame both in the war and the subsequent tourney at Lannisport, held to celebrate the victory over the Iron Islands. He met Lyness Hightower at the tourney and fell in love with her. After winning the jousting, he crowned Lyness his Queen of Love and Beauty and asked her father, Lord Leighton Hightower, for her hand in marriage, which he granted. However, life on Bear Island differed significantly from life at Old Town, and Jorah spent all of his money to keep her happy. Finally, after trying to sell poachers to a Tiroshi slaver to increase his income, Jorah fled from the north to the Free Cities with his wife upon learning that Lord Eddard Stark of Winterfell was coming to Bear Island to pass on the king's judgment. In the Free Cities, Jorah and Lyness lived in exile in Lys, and Jorah became a sellsword after they ran out of money in half a year. However, while he was away, Lyness became the concubine of a merchant prince, and Jorah was exiled from Lys as well. Jorah's aunt and Jeor's sister, Mage, inherited Bear Island after Jorah fled the Seven Kingdoms. The words of House Mormont are, "Here we stand." House Clegane of Clegane's Keep. This house of landed knights holds fealty to House Lannister of Casterly Rock and are among their primary bannermen. The keep was given to the first Clegane knight, the Kennel Master at Casterly Rock, until one autumn year when he saved Lord Titus Lannister from a lioness and lost a lag and 3 dogs in the effort. As a reward, Titus gave him lands and the Tower House and took his son as his squire. The 3 dogs of the Clegane sigil represent those that died saving Titus. The keep has a fearsome reputation, one that lives up to that of its lord, Sir Gregor Clegane. It is said that servants disappear unaccountably, and even the dogs are afraid to enter the hall. Gregor Clegane, called the Mountain That Rides, or simply Mountain, the eldest grandson of a brave cattle master, was knighted by the Prince Rhaegar Targaryen, the heir of King Aerys II Targaryen. During the sack of King's Landing, Gregor murdered Rhaegar's son, the infant Prince Aegon Targaryen, before raping and murdering his mother and Rhaegar's bride, Princess Alia Martell. Gregor is known for his unspeakable cruelty. This is mirrored in the Mountain's men, who casually commit atrocities during their campaigns. Sandor, his younger brother, was driven away by this behavior, taking service with House Lannister and refusing to take a knight's vows to avoid association with his elder brother. The father of Gregor and Sandor died in a hunting incident shortly after King Robert I Baratheon was crowned. Their sister died young under queer circumstances. House Manderly were once a powerful noble house of the Reach. Centuries ago, they were driven out of the Reach and were given sanctuary and lands by House Stark in exchange for their pledge of fealty. Starks gave the Wolf's Den and the surrounding lands to the Manderlys, leading to the creation of White Harbor around the Wolf's Den. King John Stark founded the Wolf's Den, a castle at the mouth of the White Knife, after he drove out sea raiders, who were using the harbor as a base for raids inland. For centuries, the castle was held by various Starks and offshoot branches, such as the Grey Starks. Other families who were lords of the Wolf's Den in the past included the Flints, Locks, Slates, Longs, Holts, and Ashwoods, all tasked by the Winterfell to defend the White Knife. The ancient castle is now used as a prison, as the Manderleys reside at the new castle and receive visitors in the Merman's Court. The Manderleys still keep many traditions from the south, because even though they are descended from the First Man just like their fellow Northmen, they have long ago adopted the faith of the Seven and the culture of the past Andal invaders. They are the richest house in the north through fish, grain, and overseas trade. Lord Wyman Manderley is the head of the house, and he is so fat he can no longer ride a horse and must be carried in a litter, leading to the nickname Lord Too Fat to Sit a Horse. He is nearly 60 years old, with a massive belly and fingers the size of the sausages. Wyman is amiable and has a loud booming laugh. He is mocked by his own people as Lord Lamprey. By his own admission, and because of his physical appearance, Wyman is seen by many as craven and foolish. However, it is a clever front. He is shrewd, calculating, and intelligent. He is also staunchly loyal to House Stark. The proud and pale new castle is built atop a hill rising above the city's thick white walls. The broad, stepped castle stair is a white stone street that leads from the Wolf's Den up the hill to the new castle. There is a clear view of both of the city's harbors from the hilltop. The Merman's Court is the great hall of the new castle where the Manderleys hold court. Chambers within the castle are handsomely furnished. The household guard wear cloaks of blue-green wool and carry silver tridents instead of spears. The Manderleys decorate their castle with faded banners, broken shields, and rusted swords from ancient victories, and wooden figures from the prows of ships. There is a secret passage beneath the castle stair that leads from the new castle to the Wolf's Den. White Harbor is the largest settlement north of the Neck, but the smallest among the 5 major cities of Westeros. It is the North's primary trade port as well. Its location on the mouth of the White Knife provides opportunities for trade further north. The city itself is clean and well ordered, with wide straight cobbled streets that make it easy to walk around. The houses are built of whitewashed stone with steeply pitched roofs of dark gray slate. Due to its location, White Harbor has more contact with the south, and there are more knights and followers of the Faith of the Seven in White Harbor than anywhere else in the north. The Lord of the White Harbor, Wyman Manderley, influences all lands and houses east of the mouth of the White Knife, including houses Locke, Woolfield, and Flint of Widow's Watch. Their bannermen include a dozen petty lords and 100 landed knights. House Ironwood of Ironwood. House Ironwood is an ancient family who once ruled half of Dorne as the Kings of Ironwood, titled as Blood Royals, with domains significantly greater than House Martell of Sunspear, a fact the Ironwoods let no one forget. House Ironwood established Castle Ironwood in the high valleys and green foothills below the peaks, and seized control of the Stoneway, also called the Boneway, the second of the 2 great passes into Dorne. This is reflected in their title, Warden of the Stoneway. The path runs north past the River Vill and ends at Summerhall in the Dornish Marches. Ironwood lands were also well timbered and possessed of valuable deposits of iron, tin, and silver. The ancient Ironwood kings often fought with the Storm Kings. At the battle by the Bloody Pool, Yoren Ironwood was turned back by King Durin the Young, as it was said Durin had dammed the river slain with Dornish corpses. When the Rhoynar came to Dorne with Nymeria aboard her 10,000 ships, they joined House Martell, increasing the size of Lord Mors Martell's host tenfold. Nymeria married Mors and named herself and her husband the Prince and Princess of Dorne, asserting their dominion over all of Dorne in the ensuing Nymeria's War. King Yorick V Ironwood was supported by his bannermen, Houses Jardane, Will, Blackmont, and Corgyle, amongst many others. In the 9th year of warfare, Mors Martell died at Yorick's sword in the Third Battle of the Boneway. Nymeria took control of the Martell armies, however, and it took another 2 years of fighting before Yorick bent the knee and was sent to the wall. The Ironwoods became the most powerful bannermen of House Nymeros Martell, though their relationship is uneasy at best. The Ironwoods joined bitter steel against the Targaryens and Martells in 3 of the 5 Blackfire rebellions, even though one of the original goals of the rebels was to remove the Dornish influence at court. When Oberyn Martell was 16 years old, he was found abed with old Lord Edgar Ironwood's paramour, and they fought a duel. Although it was only to first blood, Edgar's wounds festered and he died shortly afterwards, originating rumors that the Red Viper's blade had been poisoned. Oberyn fled to the Free Cities in exile. To repay a blood debt, Prince Doran Martell, Oberyn's elder brother, later sent his second child, Quentyn Martell, to foster with Edgar's grandson, Lord Anders Ironwood. Quentyn served at Ironwood as page and squire. He chose to be knighted by Anders himself instead of his uncle, Oberyn. During the War of the Five Kings, following Prince Doran's instructions, Lord Anders musters and maintains an army in the Boneway. Sir Cletus Ironwood and Sir Archibald Ironwood accompany Quentyn Martell in his mission to find Daenerys Targaryen in Assas. Since his son and his cousin are traveling with Quentyn to Assas, with all probability Lord Anders had been entrusted by Doran Martell with the critical secret of his support for the Targaryen restoration. Cletus is killed by pirates, but Archibald arrives in Meereen. The words of House Ironwood are, "We guard the way."